I never thought I would be the kind of person who could betray someone they loved so deeply. But here I am, sitting alone in this quiet room with nothing but my guilt and shame for company. You might wonder why I am sharing something so personal, so raw, so painful, but maybe it is because I need to hear from others if what I did next was right or wrong. Maybe I just want someone to tell me that I am not as terrible as I feel right now. Or maybe I simply want you to understand how one moment can unravel everything you thought you knew about yourself and the life you were living. Because when I confessed my darkest secret to him, he didn't react the way I expected at all. Instead, he reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, unlocked it, and showed me something that made my heart stop beating. It all started months ago. Before any of this happened, before either of us crossed lines, we swore we never would. Things weren't perfect between us, but then again, are they ever? Life had become routine, predictable, comfortable, even though somewhere deep inside I craved more than comfort. At first, it wasn't anything serious, just harmless conversations late at night, while he slept beside me scrolling through his phone, unbothered by the silence growing between us. Then came the messages from someone else, someone new, someone exciting, someone who listened when I spoke, who noticed things about me that felt invisible in our marriage. It was intoxicating, dangerous, thrilling, all rolled into one, and before I knew it, I was falling down a path I couldn't climb back up from. And yet, despite knowing how wrong it was, part of me convinced myself that I deserved it somehow, like I needed this escape from the emptiness I refused to admit existed. The day I decided to confess feels like a lifetime ago now, though it wasn't long ago at all. I sat across from him, trembling hands clutching the edge of the table, trying to find the words to say what I had done. My voice cracked, tears streamed down my face, and every word felt heavier than the last. I told him everything, sparing no detail, because I believed honesty was the only way to fix what I had broken. I expected anger shouts, accusations, maybe even tears of his own, but instead, there was silence. A deafening silence that stretched on far longer than I could bear. When he finally moved, it wasn't to yell or cry or walk away. He reached for his phone, tapped the screen once, twice, three times, and slid it toward me without saying a single word. What I saw on that screen shattered whatever tiny shred of hope I had left. Messages, pictures, dates, times, places, enough evidence to make it clear that he too had been hiding something just as devastating as what I had done. For a moment, neither of us spoke. We just stared at each other across the table. Two people stripped, bare of their secrets, forced to confront the truth neither of us wanted to face. The irony wasn't lost on me that after weeks of carrying around this crushing weight of my own betrayal, I discovered I wasn't the only one drowning in guilt. In some twisted way, it almost felt fair, like karma stepping in to remind me that pain cuts both ways. But fairness didn't matter anymore because no amount of symmetry could undo the damage we had caused. That night after the confession, everything changed, but nothing resolved. We went to bed, angry, hurt, confused, unsure whether forgiveness was even possible, let alone worth pursuing. Every glance, every touch, every word carried the weight of what we now knew about each other. Neither of us trusted the other anymore, and the foundation of our marriage seemed to crumble beneath our feet. Days turned into weeks, and still neither of us brought it up again, choosing instead to pretend like we could move forward without addressing the elephant in the room. But avoidance doesn't heal wounds. It only lets them fester until they consume you whole. And slowly but surely, that's exactly what happened to us. Looking back, I realize now that the affair wasn't just about seeking excitement or validation outside of our relationship. It was about feeling seen, heard, understood, things I hadn't realized I was missing until someone else gave them to me. But I also know that doesn't excuse what I did. Cheating isn't just an act of physical infidelity. It's a betrayal of trust, a violation of vows, a fracture in the very core of what holds two people together. And discovering that he had done the same thing compounded the pain tenfold because it meant neither of us had truly valued what we had. Instead of leaning on each other during tough times, we had chosen to run to someone else, leaving behind pieces of ourselves that may never fully return. There were moments when I wondered if ending the marriage was the only answer. Could two people who had both betrayed each other ever rebuild something strong enough to last? Was staying together out of obligation or fear worse than walking away entirely? These questions haunted me day and night, pulling me in opposite directions, until I didn't know which way to turn. On one hand, I wanted to fight for us to prove that love could overcome even the deepest betrayals. On the other hand, I feared that staying would only prolong the inevitable, leading to more pain, more resentment, more broken promises. So I found myself stuck in limbo, unable to decide what was best for either of us. Eventually, I made a choice, though I'm still not sure if it was the right one. I chose to stay to try to work through the mess we had created together, rather than giving up entirely. It wasn't easy, not by a long shot. Therapy became a regular part of our lives, forcing us to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and each other. There were days when I wanted to scream, days when I questioned why I was putting myself through this emotional roller coaster. But there were also glimmers of hope, moments when I remembered why we fell in love in the first place. Slowly, painfully, imperfectly, we began to piece together what remained of our relationship, hoping against hope that it could survive the storm. But here's where I need your help because I don't know if I made the right decision. Should I have walked away instead of staying? Am I fooling myself into thinking we can repair something that feels so fundamentally broken? Or is it possible for two flawed people to forgive each other and start over even after double betrayal? If you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you stay and fight for the relationship or leave and start fresh somewhere else? Your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences, they mean more to me than you might realize because sometimes hearing someone else's perspective is the only thing that helps you see your own situation more clearly. So please share your thoughts. Let me know what you think because I genuinely don't know if I'm doing the right thing.